Welcome back, biology students. It's me, Mr. Cheney, with another brilliant tutorial. This is part 2 of 3, the human body systems that we're going through in the Savvas textbook and Khan Academy section on the human body. The first part of this series was the multicellular life. You can find that in the assignment in Google Classroom. It's number 5. And this is number 6, interactivity, right here, number 6. And it'll be attached to this assignment once I'm finished making this. So let's go through the human body interactivity in the textbook. So here we go. Organization of the human body. Again, we're talking about cell to tissue to organ system. So let's go through that. The cell is the simplest unit of an organism that has all of the characteristics of life. This cell secretes acid into the stomach. Tissue, a group of structurally and functionally similar cells. The lining tissue of the digestive tract protects the underlying tissues, so a bunch of cells makes up a tissue. A bunch of tissues make up an organ, a group of tissues that are adapted to perform a specific function. Like the stomach secretes acid and enzymes to chemically break down food. The stomach is an organ made up of tissues, which is made up of cells. And then lastly, you have an organ system, a group of organs that work together. The digestive system breaks down food and absorbs nutrients. And actually, our digestive system starts in the mouth with our chewing of food, and our saliva to break it down, and so forth. So it's part of the system. Okay, screen 2. We click this right here, introduction and instructions. This is a microscope slide of the trachea, an organ in your respiratory system that transports air between your lungs, nose, and mouth. Click on the different hotspots to learn what tissue is present in that layer of the trachea, what cells it is made of, and how all of the tissues work together to help you breathe. So we can close these instructions and we'll go and read these 3 things. So this is the epithelium of the trachea. Each of these cells is lined with hair-like cilia and mucus to trap dirt and bacteria. When you click on this one, this is the first layer of connective tissue in the trachea. It contains a mixture of immune system cells, blood vessels, and other supporting cells. And then lastly, this is the thin layer of smooth muscle. This muscle can contract and expel air with force, such as when you cough. Okay, and then we have, actually it wasn't lastly, we have one last one down here. This is the second layer of connective tissue. It's made of cartilage that provides the structure and support that keeps the trachea open and able to receive air. And so that was just an informational slide. Make sure you click on each informational dot, otherwise you will not get credit. And you can tell when you go to this check mark up here if you have done what you needed to do. Okay, so now we're going to move on to screen 3. So now you're identifying levels of the human body. So this image right here shows something. This image shows the tissue, organ, or organ system level of organization. So, which is that. And then it includes the brain, which is an example of what. And then the brain is made up of what that contains groups of similar cells such as neurons. So you need to identify those 3 terms in terms of this actual system right here. Moving on to 4. Each of the human body system plays a different role in maintaining homeostasis, which is a stable internal body environment. Click through the image gallery to see the function of each system. So we're going to go through this gallery and then we'll be able to answer this question right here based on this information. Which body system is primarily responsible for transporting oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients, and waste throughout the body? So right here we have the nervous system made up of the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. The nervous system senses and responds to changes in both the internal and external environments. The circulatory system is arteries, veins, and the heart primarily. So the circulatory system transports materials throughout the body, including nutrients, hormones, oxygens, and cells. Okay, and then we have the skeletal system made up of the skull, the rib cage, the vertebra, and other bones. The bones of the skeletal system support the body, gives it shape, protect the internal organs, and provide muscles an attachment point for movement. Red blood cells are produced here as well. And we have our respiratory system, which includes the nose, lungs, trachea, and diaphragm. The respiratory system brings in oxygen needed for the generation of ATP in mitochondria and removes excess carbon dioxide from the body. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. which is a fancy name for energy. Okay, digestive system, which is made up of the mouth, esophagus, stomach, liver, large intestine, small intestine. The digestive system breaks down food into smaller molecules that are absorbed as nutrients, then eliminates the indigestible remnants. And then lastly, we have the endocrine system, which includes the hypothalamus, the thalamus, the thyroid gland, the adrenals, the ovaries, the testes. The endocrine system produces chemicals called hormones in response to changes inside and outside of the body. These chemicals control growth and development, and they help maintain homeostasis. So of all those systems that were described, which one of those is this one right here? You type your answer there. Moving on to screen 5 of 7. So we have an illustration over here of muscles and bones and tendons and that sort of thing. And so we're going to answer this question based on the illustration. And we have slide 6 of 7. So the introduction and instructions. Maintaining homeostasis in the human body often requires multiple organs interacting with each other. One example is negative feedback inhibition, where a gland or organ activates, then gradually deactivates as the effects of its secretion spread through the body. Explore the feedback inhibition between the pancreas and the liver. So we'll get this out of the way. We'll click over here. We'll read through these information systems so that we can answer the question on the next page. Pancreas releases insulin in response to high blood glucose levels. Between meals, blood glucose levels drop, and that's the cycle right there. So once you get this message, you do not need to start over, and you want to make sure you're getting all your check marks. So obviously I didn't answer questions on 3 or 4, that's why I don't have my check mark. Slide 5, same thing, I haven't answered the question. Slide 6, I went through all the information. So last slide. Which could happen if negative feedback inhibition did not signal the pancreas to stop producing insulin when blood sugar levels drop to normal levels? So this you will be informed by with this information over on this slide. Okay, once you have all of those answered, you are ready to go. The textbook will grade you, and I will put your grade into Alice. And that's it for the human body system for the Savvas textbook. I'll see you back in class.